Where to marry your Filipina. For many foreign men, this can be an extremely hard decision, and it can leave the man and the Filipina torn between marrying in the Philippines or in his country. In this video, I'll give you information that will make things much clearer to you as to where you should get married to your Filipina. If you enjoy this video, be sure to subscribe to our friendly community. For some people, this decision may be very easy, but for many, the decision isn't as straightforward as one may think, as there are many factors to consider depending on your own circumstances. Now, I'm sure that most of us would want to marry in the Philippines because knowing how close the Filipina is to a family and how the family would love to be part of the wedding, it's a hard thing to deny your Filipina and her family this special event. But for some very practical reasons and financial reasons, this may not always be possible. For example, if you're planning on bringing the Filipina to your country to live, then if you marry in the Philippines, you will at some point need to register the wedding in your country prior to applying for the visa for her to come and live in your country permanently. The problem here can be, as was advised to me by my migration agent at the time that we were looking to get married, is that you need to be very careful that the person marrying you in the Philippines is a registered person who is authorized by the Philippines to do such a ceremony. Bear in mind that people in the Philippines may pretend to be registered to do such ceremonies, and in fact their documents could even be fake, and they may not be registered at all to conduct such a ceremony. And you may only find this out down the track when you're applying to either register your marriage in your country or when you're applying for the visa for her to come and live with you in your country. And this can lead to a bit of a nightmare when you actually find out that you're not married at all. Also, another thing to be aware of in the Philippines is sometimes the paperwork may not be completed properly, even if the person marrying you is registered and authorized to do so. Or paperwork that may be completed correctly may get delayed or even lost through the processing stage, leading to long delays in having your marriage recognized as such. Can result in delays in starting any visa applications to bring her to your country, which I'm sure that most of us would like to do as soon as possible after becoming husband and wife. The next consideration is, of course, the time it takes to get all the paperwork completed and follow the steps in the Philippines to obtain a marriage license. Be sure to check out the card at the top of the screen for the step-by-step process. Rest assured that things in the Philippines don't happen quickly, and many frustrations are bound to happen. So if you have work commitments or you can't afford to go to the Philippines for a minimum of a month to go through all the processes to get the license and then to get married, then marrying in the Philippines may not be your best option. And really, to be more comfortable around time frames and to have a bit of a honeymoon, at least 6 weeks I feel would be more ideal. The process of marrying in your country may likely be much easier and a quicker process. I know here in Australia you just needed to fill in some forms, giving around a month's notice, provide a few documents to the person marrying you, and then you were right to go and get married on that nominated date. The process here in Australia is a much easier process, which can all be done via the computer, than that in the Philippines, which, as I say, can be delays and a lot of frustrations. And for some people, this is a big factor in their ultimate decision of where they'll get married. Another factor to consider is costs in Australia for weddings can be very expensive, and much more expensive than that in the Philippines. Many men who decide to marry in Australia may have a very small ceremony in a nice garden area or even at a registry office with just a couple of people as witnesses in attendance. And there is no doubt that having a wedding in the Philippines, you will get much more for your money, and a nice wedding there may be much more affordable for many foreign men. But rest assured, there is a solution for those that are in a position to do so, in order so the Filipina gets to share her special day with her family whilst you don't run the risk of having a person marry you who may not be registered or having issues with processing of the paperwork. And simply, that is to have a Filipina come to your country where you get married in a very simple ceremony, and then proceed to go to the Philippines where you have a much bigger ceremony, which of course is far less expensive, and most importantly, your Filipina and her family get to share that special day together. As I say, this is certainly a great option for those that have time and money to be able to do so, because everyone wins and no one is disappointed. But for those of you that don't have the money or the luxury to be able to do this, then you and the Filipina have some tough issues to work out in deciding to take the risk and marry just in the Philippines and then register the marriage in your country, or to bypass marrying in the Philippines altogether and just marry in your country in what may be a very simple type of ceremony, which of course would most likely not include her relatives. This is a very tough choice to make and something that shouldn't be taken lightly. But having said that, everyone has different circumstances and needs to make the decision that is in the best long-term interest of the relationship and in each other. If you want comprehensive information on marrying a Filipina in the Philippines, be sure to check out the card on screen now. Until next time, stay safe and take care.